Hey guys, it's me again. Busy week making videos because it's been a pretty big week. First off, before I get going, I usually reserve this towards the later part of my videos, but let me start by saying this. Nobody knows the day or the hour has absolutely nothing to do with the rapture. And people who are using that verse on those of us who are looking for his appearing, trying to figure out when he's coming, all that stuff. When they use that verse on us, it's either because they're ignorant or they hate his appearing. I tend to go with the latter. I mean, I guess you can leave room for some of these people to be just quote unquote immature Christians, but it takes a heck of a lot of immaturity to not realize that that verse has absolutely nothing to do with the rapture. So I'm leaning on them saying that verse because they hate his appearing. They hate the Lord. They'll never admit it. But this whole Joshua thing, talking about that guy Joshua Keller. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Um, as I've stated in my previous video, I believe that the true purpose of his prophecy is not what he thought it was or what most of us were hoping it was. I truly believe that the Lord allowed that folly in order to unite the world in its mockery and its scoffing of the rapture. I believe in my heart that it was an actual fulfillment of 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 3 to 4. As I mentioned in my last video, we use that verse, that there'll be scoffers in the last days saying, whence the promise of his appearing. We've been using that verse for as long as we've known about the rapture, all of us. Whenever somebody tries to mock the idea of the rapture, we would use that verse, in the last days there'll be scoffers. But I really think that that verse is much more than just a generalization of how it would be like in the last days. I believe that is an actual specific prophecy that Joshua may have just fulfilled with his failed prophecy because it really united the world. It even got to the mainstream and all that, and basically, with one voice, the world is mocking us. And I believe that fulfills that scripture, and it kicks off the last days. So we have very good reason to be celebrating. Do not feel down that the world is mocking us. This is the ultimate application of that verse. It is a fulfillment of it. But what I've found happening because of this is a lot of so-called Christians are coming out of the hole they're hiding in and telling us, "I told you so." You guys stop setting dates. Nobody knows the day and the hour. He's coming at an hour you don't expect. I've addressed all these before, but here's the thing, guys. It's like when they're telling us not to set dates, as I've explained in my other video, 2 videos or so ago, a few videos ago, none of us are really setting dates. Because if we're setting dates, it'll actually happen on that date. We're just entertaining potential rapture dates. That's not setting it. We're looking at it, but they made up this pretend term that really doesn't mean anything. It's just double speak for hating his appearing. I mean, when they're telling us, hey, stop setting dates, just preach the gospel. What is the actual corrective course that we are supposed to take? Okay, we're not going to set dates anymore. No, what they really mean to tell us is stop watching. They don't want us to watch. They're relabeling our eagerness, our love for his appearing. They're branding it as date setting. And as I've said before too, I see a lot of real believers trying to apologize all the time, trying to qualify their hope with, I'm not trying to set a date, but, or I'm not a date setter, but, we don't need to qualify our statements when we're looking at a particular time frame, a window, a specific day. When we're speculating on it, we don't need to apologize for that. We're not setting dates, we're watching for dates. That's all we can do. Again, when people tell you to not set dates, what they really mean is to stop watching. Why do they want us to stop watching? Well, it bugs them because most of them, if not all of them, who are telling us to stop watching, hate his appearing. They're not truly born again. I say that confidently because anyone who belongs to the Lord will not mock those of us who are waiting for his appearing. I know they try to play it off by saying, oh, every day is a high watch date for me. Whatever. They're lying. They're not watching. And this reminds me of Luke chapter 12. You know what verse I'm talking about? I believe it starts from verse 35. The passage where the master was commending the servants who are watching for his return. Then he keeps on going, and then this is where Jesus, or the master that Jesus was talking about in the parable, tells the others who are not watching to therefore watch, because I'm coming at an hour you do not expect. When he gets to that point, he was using the good servants as an example for watching, and he turns his attention to these servants who are not watching and tells them to watch. Because as I've said many times before, Jesus was addressing those who are not watching, and they're never watching. Therefore, whenever he comes, it will be at an hour that they don't expect because they're never expecting. And if Jesus wanted to tell us who are watching that he wouldn't be coming at an hour that, we're expecting, he would have said so. He would have said, hey guys, I know you're watching for a specific date, but I will not be coming at a time that you're expecting. No, that's not what Jesus said. He was addressing those who are not watching and warning them that since they're not expecting, he's coming at an hour that they don't expect. But, Luke 12 keeps on going, and this is what really reminds me of what's happening right now. The evil servants who think that the master is delayed. They beat the other male and female servants because they think the master is delayed. That's exactly what they're trying to do to us when they're telling us to stop, quote unquote, setting dates. Nobody knows the day or the hour. They're trying to tell us to stop watching. And they're mocking us for it, spreading lies about it. They're joining the world in celebration because the rapture did not happen. They think they got us where they want us. Kind of like when the Egyptians have the Israelites trapped. And they're breathing down the Israelites' necks. And they're just there trapped. But we know that the Lord opened the Red Sea for them. And that's exactly what's going to happen for us. But as of right now, these professing Christians are celebrating with the rest of the world with one voice, mocking us, celebrating the fact that the rapture did not happen on the Feast of Trumpets as many of us were hoping that it would. And they think that they can finally shut us up for good. That's what they're hoping. The thing is, in that parable in Luke 12, these evil masters, the master bundles them up with the non-believers. They said they're going to get their portion. Jesus said that these people will get their portion with the non-believers. So I know I talk a lot of smack and accuse these people who hate the rapture as non-believers, or those people who get mad when we look at dates. I like to accuse them of being non-believers, but this is exactly what they're doing. They are the perfect match for the evil servant that Jesus was describing in the parable in Luke chapter 12. As I've said many times now recently, even if you're the biggest skeptic of the rapture itself or the high watch dates, if you truly belong to the Lord, you would want to be wrong. You would want to be proven wrong rather than being proven right. See, those of us that truly belong to the Lord, this is not about us being right. We're only going to be right one time. And when we're right, we're not going to be sticking around in this world to say, I told you so. When we go up at the rapture, we'll have glorified bodies, free of sin, with a glorified mind. And the last thing we're going to want to do is be in the flesh, laughing at all those people who are wrong. Because we're going to be transformed in the twinkling of an eye. And yes, there is that part of me right now that, want to rub it in when we finally go up and all these people who are doubting the rapture, I can picture myself, waving bye to them as I'm going up. I know it's going to happen much faster than that. There'll be no time. But that's not my goal. We just want to be with Jesus. Forget this world. Forget what all these pretend Christians are saying about us. It's not about us trying to prove them wrong. It's just about us wanting to be with the Lord. But for them, it's all about trying to prove us wrong, trying to make us look stupid. And they feel better about themselves each time a high watch date passes and the rapture doesn't happen. They are literally celebrating the fact that Jesus did not return. And if that's not the very definition of hating the Lord, I don't know what is. Christianity is just part of who they are. It's part of their persona, their reputation. That's why they get so mad. Some people get mad when we look at high watch dates because it, quote unquote, makes the church look bad. Really? Who are they trying to look good for? The world is going to hate us because it hated Jesus first. Jesus said that. And if you're too busy trying to make the world like you or respect you, you got something else coming to you. And if you do have the world's respect and their affection and admiration, you probably belong to the world. You put on your Sunday shoes, try to look all proper, try to look like an upstanding citizen, because that's what Christianity is about, right? No. Especially these last days, literally last days that we're living in, it is all about Jesus, it's all about the gospel, and it's all about the rapture. If you're not longing for him, if you're not despairing for him, if you're not getting disappointed when a high watch date such as this passes, then you're not really watching. And at best, you won't be getting any crowns when that trumpet sounds. But more than likely, if you're not watching, and if you think the rapture is a bummer, you have other things to do, then most likely you don't really belong to the Lord. And you better examine your heart to make sure you're truly of the faith. Now, as I'm recording this video, over the past couple of days, there are already new theories floating around. Something about the Julian calendar or something. I mean, you can look it up yourself. Basically, what I've been seeing is that September 23rd and September 24th is not really our September 23rd and 24th. It's based, if we base it on the Julian calendar or the other way around, I don't know, but whatever. They're saying that the true September 23rd slash 24th falls somewhere around October 6th, 7th, around there. Now, I'm not going to laugh that off completely, write that off completely. I mean, I know a lot of people are just coming up with these things, maybe, or maybe they think they have something solid. I don't know. All I know is whatever skepticism I have towards this new calendar game they're trying to play to keep the ball in play, whatever skepticism I have towards that, I want to be wrong. I want the rapture to happen on those days if it didn't happen, you know, this week. I'm not waiting for October 6th, 7th, or whatever, 8th, 9th, to go back and laugh at those people for being wrong. So, yeah. Again, guys, as I've been telling you for a couple of years now, we need to go directly to the Lord for that revelation, for the day and the hour, because it is within his character. It's very consistent with his character to let us know ahead of time, and that's exactly what he's going to do. It's encouraging when we see other people have rapture dreams or confirmations the way we've been seeing over the past few weeks. But the only way we can really be sure for ourselves is if we get that revelation directly from the Lord and not having to rely on others. Because as convincing as a lot of these videos are from other people, there's always the possibility that they're just making stuff up or they themselves were deceived. We can't tell if it's really a counterfeit. Especially those who keep saying that they have dreams, but all they can ever say is Jesus told them it was going to be soon. See, that's one thing I respect this Joshua guy for. At least he went all in with a specific day. He even said he was like 1,000,000,000% sure. I don't know what he's feeling right now. I don't know what was going on in his heart. I don't know if any of the things he said were real, at least to him. But like I've said before, I believe that the Lord allowed it to fulfill the prophecy in 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 to 4. I now believe that that's a very, very specific prophecy pointing to a very specific event. And with this folly, Joshua united the entire world in its mockery and scoffing of our blessed hope. And that's a great thing. I think that really kicks off the very last days. So, guys, thank you for watching. Keep on looking up. Keep on going to the Lord for that revelation. We need to keep encouraging each other. If we do get encouragement from the Lord, let's share it. Let's all use discernment. Test every spirit. Guys, thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time, and hopefully it'll be in the air with Jesus.